Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Concept Pending Heroes and Villains podcast. Today we have Greg with us and Myra. And we wanted to discuss one of our biggest collections this year and talk about San Diego Comic-Con. So I guess at the point that this airs, we'll kind of know how everything's hitting. But right now we're kind of prepping and getting ready, and we're super excited. It's a really cool concept. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so, yeah, let's get right into it, I suppose. You can see some of the marvelous merchandise behind us here. 2024 is the 25th anniversary of episode 1.
The Phantom Menace.
The Phantom Menace. It's kind of depressing and weird that it's been 25 years. I
don't feel old at all.
No, doesn't make
I'm young at heart.
It feels like it was not 25 years ago, but it was. So we're leaning hard into the Phantom Menace, and that's kind of where we started with our development for San Diego this year. And, there's a lot of cool, iconic parts to that film. But I think most of us agree that the pod race was probably, one of the most iconic pieces to that. It was kind of the turning point, and, Anakin's life and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and like the whole thing that went down there. There's also something we hadn't seen before, right? Like we hadn't seen like just flat out racing for sport. And
I was about to say that. Yeah, everything is kind of like very serious. People just trying to kind of make a living and not die in the universe. And this one was like, they actually do recreational activities.
Yeah.
Well, it's before the war, right?
Yeah.
So, that'll make sense.
Yeah, so that's a lot of fun to kind of dig into the intricacies of everything that was going on there. So yeah, San Diego, we're going to have this where the intentions are that we show up as kind of this Star Wars garage, mechanics / pit crew kind of vibe, and the all the product development was kind of centered around that concept. The pod race, first and foremost, to celebrate the 25th, I think everything we did in that collection has that like 25th call out on it. The majority of it does. We've got some new pieces that we're adding to the line, new silhouettes, new jacket shapes, new bags, a few new hats, and then the typical, hoodies and crews and tees. But like as we were developing into pod racer, we were like, we need to do something bigger than just this, right? Like we can't lean everything into that. And generally, like at San Diego, we end up having like a few like core groupings. And so to broaden that same concept and stay within the race idea, we're like, what are the two coolest racing starships in the galaxy?
Smallest, fastest,
right? Like and head to head constantly. Right? So the X-wing and the TIE fighter. So we thought like, how cool would it be to build like this race concept into those two ships, as well as if they were competing against each other, or like it was two race teams.
Which, let's be real, that's an event we'd all love to see, right? Just a straight up race between the two.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in just a flat out straight race, the X-wing will lose. It's the TIE Fighter's faster.
But
if it's a course
maneuverability, and that's what you would have to take into consideration, I think.
Yeah.
It would be unfair. Also, like there's different racing aesthetics, right? Like that we kind of played with. So I think, for the pod race concept, everything leaned harder into like Formula One look and feel. Like classic Formula One, whereas I think with the TIE Fighter and X-Wing, it was way more like moto inspired, you know?
And another thing too, when we were kind of conceptualizing everything, the Formula One events in Vegas was going on at the same time. So we just had an endless amount of inspiration there.
Yeah. There was huge hype around like and that's been a pretty strong trend, you know, the kind of Omni branded race look with those concepts kind of like dialed in, right? Like there's a few like iconic things that are specific to the pod racer, and well, I mean there's a few for every single set or whatever, but like with the pod racer, you know, right before Anakin starts the race, they all march out there and you got C-3PO and his like half built look
with his pod showing
showing off his pods, toting the flag, which was awesome. This is like, now you have this flag associated to Anakin specifically in this pod race competition. So that, I mean, throughout the items, you'll see that we have that little flag like incorporated in here and there. Of course, the circuit, the Bunta Eve
classic.
Classic. Like, so that makes a lot of sense. We were able to find like good like map references of the race. A lot of those really cool things to play with. And then obviously we like pulled color inspiration from Anakin's pod racer specifically. So I mean, you can see behind us, there's some beautiful pieces. The new duffel bag. I don't know if you want to speak to that at all.
One of the really cool things about doing these big collections, especially for shows, it's like a really good opportunity to test new silhouettes and get like the crowd's reaction, because we are there to speak to them. So I wanted to introduce a barrel duffel. I think it really went well with the racing theme, because you got to get all your gear in there, and just wanted to do as much of like the Omni branding. And I think the colors are really beautiful, really bright. Just a chance to kind of like make something differ from the traditional color that we use with our Star Wars.
Yeah, it's a great travel bag too. So like, you know, a lot of people at the shows will appreciate extra space for packing all their goodies.
Yeah, because you know when you're there, you're just hoarding as much product as possible, and then you have an extra bag too.
I mean, if you come by the Heroes and Villains booth first, then you'll be able to get your bag and use it to carry all your merch around at the time.
There we
go. That's right. And we also have some exclusives along the way. A few lapel pins. I think we have a sticker pack as well. So yeah, there's a lot of little items as well. But we do have the full line of fleece, outerwear, tees, and accessories for each idea. So yeah, the pod racer thing, that's its own thing, and it's beautiful, and it's all like blues, yellow, oranges. And what, like I was saying with the flag, a really cool thing, like we actually made Anakin's flag, so you can get the flag at our booth at San Diego Comic-Con. So stop by and pick up Anakin's flag. We've got a couple other ones for the TIE Fighter and the X-Wing as well. Yeah. You can see them up there. We've got the Rebel and the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter piece over there. But yeah, then beyond that, it was like, let's dig into the X-Wing. I guess we'll start there. We've done a ton of X-Wing and X-Wing pilot and Rebel inspired surrounding the X-Wing. But I think this one's a little more in depth. I think.
For sure.
Like specifically with the X-Wing.
Well, it's really taking a different approach to it, right? Like instead of being so militaristic, it really is much more sporty, much more about racing.
Yeah. So we took like Incom Corp, who's the manufacturer of the X-Wing. The T-65, in my opinion, is probably like the classic like version. If you're talking about like classic cars or whatever, like I feel like that's the one. Using those like manufacturer names, initials, and all the like details about the X-Wing. That's all built into the product. So, you know, like with racing, it's always like sponsorships,
Yes.
like Tide and like Wonder Bread or whatever, you know,
or even like what manufacturer of your mufflers.
Exactly. So then that's where the omni branding comes from, right? It's like all the sponsorships just putting all this crap all over the car. And so, yeah, we kind of played with that using those manufacturers as like sponsors, right?
And that in itself, I think, makes it look really in world. Like you were really there, you know, in the pit crew.
Yeah. And so it becomes less about like just Imperial and Rebel and more about like participating in something in world.
Yeah.
Which was really cool and fun to do.
So like a lot of that starts to make sense in world because when you think about where like NASCAR came from, like NASCAR started with bootleggers because they would modify their cars and they would race each other for fun on the weekends. Yeah. And like, okay, again, if you're thinking about it like, you know, okay, there was just a big war. There's going to be a ton of surplus now. So they're going to be like old decommissioned X-Wings and TIE fighters and stuff. And so people are going to soup them up. So it's going to happen, guys.
It just makes sense.
So we should just like refer to this collection of like Fast and the Furious in space.
Yeah. Bootleggers across the galaxy.
Yep. What would the Star Wars equivalent of White Lightning be?
Like, that's a good one. So we've introduced 3 new jackets with this collection. I wish Mos Espa was here, but it's not. But that is very Formula One. It's all poly. It's very sporty. But we also have the new X-Wing and TIE Fighter moto jackets, which are gorgeous, fit amazing. So this is, you know, for those of you that follow us and that have seen our product, this is really something new. I mean, we do the bombers all day. We do the Lettermans, you know, collegiate inspired, but this is a new style that we're releasing at San Diego. And P.S., everything in this collection is debuting specifically at San Diego. And that's kind of how we do, you know, all of our major collections for that time of year.
And this one's different because it's mixing fabrics, right? You've got the PU leather look with the canvas.
Right. Yep. It was very moto. So like specifically derived from moto jackets. And, you know, if you ride bikes, moto jackets have padding, like specifically built in areas and touch points, right? Like your elbows, the back of your shoulders here, your shoulders. So you can see that inspiration built into the jacket. You can see where we have the quilting on the elbows and the shoulder. Even the back, I believe, has like what would be that armor plate right here, you know, on the back. And we left it more about like the sponsorships and the ships themselves versus the Imperial. So we just have that subtle cog on the back, but everything else is more focused towards the ship and the manufacturers of those ships.
So with the TIE Fighter, we've got the Scion systems, and with the X-Wing,
we've got Incom Corp, Toshi Station.
Hey, power converters, right?
Yeah, garage and repair.
But I think even so much thought was put into the colors and the fabrication to make it look very vintage. Like you've owned this jacket for a while, because most people that have these types of moto jackets, you know, that's a piece that's sitting in that closet for quite
exactly. A bit. And you're collecting,
timeless.
You're collecting like vintage patches and putting them on there. And plus you've been using it, riding, and it's all dingy. And so, I think there was definitely a very like vintage garage vibe to everything that we did with the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter. We also are introducing some new shapes and bags. We talked about the barrel duffel, which is amazing, but we also have a smaller messenger
sling.
Yeah.
Yes. Kind of doing some research. It's like a little messenger bag. But I put a lot of thought into the shoulder strap. Because I know when you're at the con, you don't want to have to be shuffling through all of your things. So I put this removable pouch in the front so you can very easily slide your cell phone here. Because if you see a character you want to take a picture of, you just quickly pull it out. And then you have your pocket for your wallet. So everything is right here in front of you. You're not having to dig it or, have to hope somebody isn't digging through your bag and stealing your things. So yeah, just a lot. I mean, it's really a small footprint, but it fits a lot, which I think would be a perfect item for the con. And you can organize all your goodies in there.
Yeah. And it also has the padded storage in the back.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to be carrying a 17-inch MacBook.
No, these are tablet size.
But a tablet.
Netbook or a Chromebook or
something
or just to stash items that you don't want exposed or whatever,
like signed photos.
Yeah, stuff like that. And also, we know you guys definitely love to be hydrated, so I added this hidden little water bottle pocket. So it expands out, but then when it's closed, it's not kind of like bulking out. So.
I like that because the zipper matches the zippers on the moto jacket.
So definitely trying to integrate a lot of the iconography that's in the jackets to go along with it. But again, a new shape for us.
Yeah,
we're gonna be testing out there.
Very cool. Small, compact. It's a great con bag in my opinion. That, and then we have the TIE Fighter version of that as well.
Yes.
Not able to share here, but
we
do. Trust me.
Gotta be honest, I wouldn't mind having one of those for like D&D and gaming because that is perfect size for books and notebooks and things. So yeah, and we've also another big, very cool thing that we're doing this year is we're working with some of our buddies that are makers on the Dad Batch guys.
Cool.
So they make a lot. They make incredible stuff. You've seen them. You've met them.
I've seen what they've built.
So we're working with them, and we're going to review the booth later today, as a matter of fact. But they're building out some really cool, like in-world little bits for us to kind of
some big old Greeblies to stick on the booth. Right?
Hopefully we'll have like a sidewall of Greeblies and like, I don't know. I'm just excited to see what they come back with.
Yeah.
But we're going to be in the same spot as we always are in the Lucas Pavilion. So hopefully you guys are like interacting with us like right now while we're podcasting in the future. But yeah, we had a couple other fleece we could share. Bunta Eve, Mos Espa Arena Presents. So you can kind of get the idea of where we're going here with the Omni branding, and we've got all the little, different iconography pieces, the little logo that's on his pod racer.
You get the pod racing logo there for the sport,
right? Like the kind of like MLB.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Deal. So that's one of the pod racing pieces, and then we have a couple other fleece items for the X-Wing and TIE Fighter. So Incom Court T65, awesome sweatshirt. It's got all the little details about the X-Wing and how cool it is. Some nice quilted sleeves.
They're nice and cushy. I was right around checking it out for something else.
Uber comfortable hoodie. And then the TIE Fighter crew. So similar design aesthetic. And we took some inspiration from some like old, like vintage car ads and stuff where, you have this like kind of illustrated concept art looking drawing of the car over a color block. And then we also have, we've got the elbow pads on there. Some cool fleece. Oh, no.
Hey.
There he is.
Anakin's flag.
Anakin's flag hanging behind us. So you can see, the flags are awesome. They're not like chintzy little nylon flags.
Yeah. They're all screen printed on like canvas. So they're stayed up for a while.
Yeah, and they're double sided, turned and stitched edges. They have a reinforced spine on them with the little grommets, so you could fly them, I suppose, but I feel like they're more like wall decor than they are,
more display pieces. Yeah,
but they're sick. I love them. More to come there. Stay tuned. So, Greg, you're wearing one of our hats there.
I am, as a matter of fact, for the Income Corporation. It's the sort of thing my grandpa used to wear.
Nice.
Back on the farm.
Very like vintage oil can.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And I too am wearing a one of our hats. So Pod Racer Mos Espa. This one you can tell is a lot. It's not as like
more Formula One.
Yeah,
sure.
And less structured to it. Super lightweight. It's ripstop.
But those are great for a really hot day.
Oh, perfect! Like super lightweight. They dry fast. Super comfortable. So that's just a couple of the hats. We also have the Sinar piece as well. We've got a lot of great exclusives, a lot of great debut items. We're doing some deals. Spend X amount, get a free lapel pin, exclusive lapel pin. So we do have some really cool lapel pins celebrating the 25th of episode 1. Sticker packs that we're doing as gift with purchase as well. This year we did some really cool Heroes and Villains branded patches that we'll have at the booth as well. So that'll be way cool. Lots of little bits here, little freebies and stickers and decals and all kinds of stuff like that. We'll always hook it up.
Man, too bad we don't have time to make like a slot car track.
Ooh.
As you set it up. That would be fun, right?
So I think maybe, and there was talk about it with the Dad Batch guys, that we may have like some droids and stuff
hanging around the garage.
Yeah, that should be cool.
Well, it's supposed to look like a slightly cluttered garage, so that's
yeah. You should see my garage.
Oh man,
slightly cluttered.
So my grandfather was a dairy farmer, as his like barn / garage. I remember that. I remember the smell because it smelled like oil. No, not bad.
Oh,
it smelled like oil and
say like
metal and
spoiled milk. Dairy farm.
No, not in the garage. Like that would be the barn if they didn't rinse it out every day. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
No, that's milk was not the grossest thing I ever saw in a dairy barn, for sure.
I believe it. All right. So that wraps it up. Thank you again for joining us for another Concept Pending podcast. Be sure to check us out, heroesvillains.com, and check us out on social, Heroes Villains Brand. We also have a social for Concept Pending, so at Concept Pending on social. And hope to see you at the booth. Hope everything goes well, and we'll see you next time. So long, folks.
Bye.